This is the Fist of Everlasting Whiskey. And I'm sorry, every time I go by the Fist of Everlasting Whiskey, I become emotional because I'm reminded of all the sacrifices of my father and my father before him. So many people have died I don't know where I'm going with this.
Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Being with Babish, the show where I travel, cook, and eat my way around the city and the globe and take you along for the ride. This episode is sponsored by Audible, and right now Amazon Prime members can get Audible for $4.95 a month for the first 3 months. That's 3 months for the price of one. After that, it's only $14.95 a month. Go to audible.com/Babish or text Babish to 500-500 to get started. This offer ends July 31st, 2019. Today, we're celebrating the struggle and recovery of one of my viewers, Greg Johnson. He wrote us an email telling his survival story, being diagnosed with testicular cancer, its spread to his lymph nodes, repeated surgeries, and the weeks of chemo, one session of which fell on his 28th birthday. In his own words, it sucked. The chemo proved ineffective, and this past New Year's Eve, he went under the knife again to have his lymph node removed. With that final blow dealt to the dastardly disease, Greg was cancer-free, and he was rightfully in the mood to celebrate. He concluded his email with an invitation to visit him in Kentucky to share a toast to his newfound health. As he shared my fondness for bourbon, I had never visited the Bourbon Trail, so I figured we could do him one better. And with that, the boys were headed to Kentucky. From Jim Beam to Angel's Envy to Willett to Peerless, we rampantly ticked off the boxes on my bourbon bucket list in the heat of the Bible Belt. Everywhere we went, we told the distilleries about Greg's struggle and survival, and they wanted to help us celebrate. Barrelheads, autographed casks, and bottles upon bottles were gifted up to fortify Greg's whiskey collection, and what started as a surprise toast was quickly turning into a bourbon lover's dream. And thanks to some friendly conspiracy with his girlfriend Billy, he had no idea any of it was coming.
So, here we are, Louisville, Kentucky. We've been hitting the Bourbon Trail all day. I'm starting to feel it. And our last stop is the Rabbit Hole Distillery, where we're going to meet up with Greg and surprise him with the bourbon selection of a lifetime. Come with us, won't you? Go, go, go!
We arrived at the final stop on the tour, Rabbit Hole Distillery, where we had to quickly figure out a way to surprise Greg. I figured I'd pose as a tour guide, hide behind the front desk, and wait for them to arrive. I'm not sure why I thought this was a good idea. I had had some bourbon at this point.
So the door is right there behind me. So he's going to plainly see me when he walks in the door. So I'm just going to be working on these bags. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you want to do a tour right now?
Yeah, I'm busy for the next one.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Hi, Andrew. How you doing?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be giving you.
man.
Oh, how you doing? You recognize me?
Absolutely.
Not even in my disguise.
No, afraid not.
It was supposed to be perfect.
I think you did great.
Thank you very
What are
much.
you doing here?
I'm just here to surprise you and say hi. I heard you're a big fan of bourbon, mainly because you wrote in and said hi to us, and we got in touch with Billy here. Thank you very much for talking with us, and we thought we'd go through and have a little tasting here.
Well, crap. Yeah, let's do it.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's do it.
Sweet.
Cool. You the coolest cucumber we've ever had in the show. Just like yeah, just like oh hey.
There's a romance in people who make alcohol. They know they're making an indulgence for some, a vice for others, and a luxury for all. A thing of time, patience, and skill whose reward is something no one really needs, but everyone really wants. That romance can be felt especially at Rabbit Hole, the veritable new kids on the block, a slab of modernity on a joyful warpath to show that innovation and tradition can walk hand in hand. It's no secret that learning the story behind the things you love deepens your appreciation for them, but I had no idea the effect that dipping my finger in the very bubbling cauldrons of Auburn mash bill would have on me.
Don't tell me I've been doing this, okay? Ow! Damn it!
Before I spiraled too far down into a bourbon interior monologue, we got to put the cherry on top of this Kentucky sundae and sample a bit of high wine.
This is high wine. You can also call this white dog, white lightning, moonshine. Do me a favor, don't drink directly out of this. You're going to regret it. Pro tip, don't smell it straight on. You'll just blow your nose right out. You guys smell it off to the side. It'll smell like it'll peel your boots off. Be brave. Put a finger in there. Give it a taste. It's delicious. super sweet, really, really soft. And that all comes from the, oh yeah.
That's moonshine.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that neat? Yeah. Because it smells like you're gonna like lose a tooth or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the low fermentation I was talking about. That's what keeps it nice and soft.
That'll light you up.
Oh yeah. Also, that is the cleanest that your finger will be like all day.
And with that, it was finally time to taste some of this stuff. Adam gave us a walkthrough of what to expect from each of the distillery's offerings.
Okay, my darling. Greg, how you doing?
Lovely evening.
I got confused. I forgot which scene we were doing.
Cheers. Won it for seconds.
Yeah.
Very tasty.
It gives you a lot of cinnamon. It gives you a lot of allspice, a little bit of green apple. The big thing for me, when you get farther down into the glass, it starts smelling like creme brulee. It's all burnt sugar and vanilla. And that is the barrel. That is how important the barrels are.
The line gets blurred where you start telling me things like that, and I wonder if I'm actually smelling them or if you're just telling me that.
It is a big part of it.
Yeah.
No, that is a huge part of it. That happens a lot on the other side too. When I do these tastings, I'll have somebody that looks at me and goes, "Oh, it smells like cake batter," and I'm like, "You're completely right." Absolutely, it does smell like sugar cookies. Like, no, there are no right answers in this.
Now I'm getting sugar cookies for sure.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Just
I'm gonna
different.
tell you, don't ever let anybody tell you how to drink your damn whiskey, sir. You drink your whiskey however you want to drink it. If you want to take your $300 bottle of whiskey and put it in a bottle of Coke, it's your bottle of whiskey. You can do whatever you want with it.
Y'all hear that? Take that home with you. That's free advice. So, Greg, is this what you were expecting?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I thought I was going to have drinks and dinner with people I didn't know. Well, I guess that's really what's happening. But
Not dinner. I'm sorry. We don't have dinner for you. I understand if you want to leave.
you,
but-
you can convince me
Okay,
afterwards.
okay, well, cheers. Thank you. You shot us an email. Basically, I had asked any fans of the show that inspired someone or made them happy or was going through a particularly tough
Oh,
time.
yeah.
To
Well,
reach
I
out.
did go through a tough time.
Yeah. So to be clear, you're in remission.
Yes.
Well, that's what we really wanted to come here to do, was to cheers and congratulate you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for surviving.
Yeah. Yes. Happy
That's-
to.
I've had a lot of personal experiences with cancer. I personally have not had cancer myself, but I've been surrounded by it. So, I was particularly touched when I got your email and you told me about your situation. And you said something that really resonated with me, which was that you said you had no shortage of love in your life. Your family, your girlfriend,
Absolutely.
they were looking after you.
Yeah. Chemo. You're just getting stuck with needles all day long. You sit there in a chair for 8 hours, hooked up to a machine. But during the whole process, of course, every family member and friend was like, let me come sit with you for a while. Let me come bring you lunch. Every nurse in the office, went out of their way to make it as comfortable as an uncomfortable situation could be. So even though I was not feeling great, I was, it makes you feel like garbage. But after the whole thing, going home, getting picked up by family or by Billy, it was not so bad. Come home and sit on the couch, pop on a binging episode. My cat comes and sat right up on my lap. It was kind of great.
Well, I've been really honored to be part of people's lives in that
Yeah.
way. And I'm really happy that I can play that really, really tiny role. It's just something to watch at the end of the day, the end of a crappy day.
Yeah.
So what we've been trying to do with Being is meet up with folks like you that have
Yeah.
gone through some stuff or who deserve, a drink or a good time.
And drink on a patio.
and
Absolutely.
say cheers. And we have a slightly larger way that we want to say cheers, and we want to take you downstairs to do that. So let's roll downstairs real quick.
Let's go.
Say cheers up here too.
Cheers.
It's always been amazing to me that they can make wood watertight like that without using any kind of sealant. They just get it so tight in there that it's like molecularly will not let water out. It's dope. So like I said, we wanted to say cheers in a bigger way.
Holy
and
crap.
we know you're a big bourbon enthusiast, so this is the Bourbon Trail as a whole saying, we're behind you.
Damn.
Congratulations.
Right. Thank you so much.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
So, bunch of cool, rare stuff here. We went to my personal favorite, Angel's Envy. It's my favorite bottle of American whiskey. And we got to bottle our own bottles here. So this one is Bourbon by Babish, but it's been signed by the owner of the distillery, Wes Henderson, and he wishes you the absolute best and says congratulations as well.
That's awesome.
that will sit atop the bar with pride.
Yeah, and this has a thing to make it literally sit atop the bar. It's literally to just like jack it up so it's a little bit higher than everybody else.
As it should be.
This is not only the Bourbon Trail standing behind you, it's also my audience standing behind you, because they're the ones responsible for making this show happen. People like you are responsible for why I get to do what I do. So this is my little way of saying thank you and congratulations.
Well, I'll drink it with pride.
I'm fresh out, so you should be set for the next few months, I hope.
Yeah, at least the rest of the year.
Okay. Oh, all right, good. Everything in moderation. I like it.
Absolutely.
I think Greg's cool, calm demeanor suits him well. He seems unflappable, an attribute that undoubtedly came in handy when he was fighting for his life this time last year. Like all those around me that have been affected by cancer, he's a walking tribute to the impermanence of suffering and the resilience of the human spirit. And after spending a breezy afternoon with him, I was more ready than ever to propose a toast. But like I mentioned earlier, whiskey tastes all the sweeter when you learn a bit more about it. So in that spirit, so to speak, I'd like to walk through a few of my favorites and talk about what they have to offer for any newcomers looking to get into the brown stuff. First up, we gotta talk glassware. A wide and heavy-bottomed tumbler is the rule of thumb for classy sipping, but for tasting, the heads go for a fluted little snifter like this one. The tapered rim allows for two things, easy swirling and nose insertion. But like Adam suggested, drink your whiskey however you like. Now how about we drink some? First up is my personal favorite American whiskey, Angel's Envy Straight Bourbon. It's moderately priced at $40 and worth every penny. Versatile enough for cocktails, but complex enough for sipping. It's rich and slightly fruity with notes of brown sugar, leather, and spice. It's finished in port barrels, giving it some hints of berry, orange, and caramel. Overall, it's extremely easy to drink, accessible, and has a well-earned place on my shelf. The idea behind swirling whiskey, tipping it, sniffing it, swishing it around in one's mouth is to try and take it in as fully and with as many senses as possible. Adding a drop or two of ice water can open up subtle new smells and flavors as it cuts through the harshness of the alcohol and allows its flavor compounds to float to the surface. So don't ever let someone make you feel bad for watering down your whiskey. Next up is the other major iteration of bourbon, rye. Made with at least 51% rye grain, it's typically spicier and drier than straight bourbon, especially in the case of Angel's Envy rye, which is aged in Caribbean rum barrels, giving it even more spice on both the nose and the palate. Adding a bit of ice water cuts through the rye's slightly harsher bite and lets these flavors come even more clearly to the surface. Now, let's talk Scotch. This is the Scotch that got me into Scotch, Glenfiddich 15. It's light, sweet, nutty, fruity, and slightly spicy, a great example of what the Speyside region has to offer. Scotch varies wildly in flavor based on a number of factors, not least of which is its origin. It's expensive, but its 12-year-old little brother is lovely to drink and a fraction of the price, which is how I'll now seamlessly transition into a discussion of a whiskey's age. From the Islay region, the land of peat and smoke, comes Ron Swanson's favorite, Lagavulin, or as I call it, a tire fire in a bottle. It's an excellent example of what happens to whiskey as it ages. It softens, rounds out, becomes more complex and less harsh. It also becomes more and more expensive. The Lagavulin 8 clocks in at around $65 and punches you in the face with smoked cigars and iodine, yielding to some floral and honeyed characteristics on the finish. The 16 adds 8 years and $30 to the price tag, and with its age comes experience. More time in the barrel allows the whiskey's complexity to shine through the harshness. Then there's Irish whiskey, which is typically more fruit and cereal forward in its nose and palate. Bushmills Black Bush comes in at a reasonable $30 and makes for an easy, comforting sip during a cold, blustery day with fruit, cinnamon, tea, and raisins on the palate. Japanese whiskey made its biggest splash in 2014 when the Yamazaki Sherry Cask won Best Whiskey in the World, and its availability, variety, and prices have all soared since then. Nika makes a wide range of delicate, sweet, and complex offerings, my favorite of which is the coffee malt, overflowing with syrup, oak, fruit, and honey. It's dessert in a glass, and the one with which I want to toast to Greg. Here's to you, bud, and thanks also for the advice that he asked me to pass on to you all. Get your balls checked regularly and perform self-examinations every month or so. The Bourbon Trail, while fun, is exhausting. With the long drive to Nashville in front of us, I relaxed to the dulcet tones of Nick Offerman narrating the adventures of Tom Sawyer, thanks to Audible.
For by this time she was bending down and punching under the bed with the broom, and so she needed breath to punctuate the punches with.
But Audible isn't just good for relaxation, it can stimulate your mind. With a massive library of exclusive audio titles from renowned storytellers in journalism, literature, and more, Audible Originals give you the experiences you can't get anywhere else. For instance, the Audible original Our Harlem by Marcus Samuelson explores my old neighborhood through food, culture, and the people who have made it so iconic. Amazon Prime members can get Audible for $4.95 a month for the first 3 months. That's 3 months for the price of one. After that, it's only $14.95 a month. Go to audible.com/Babish or text Babish to 500-500 to get started. This offer ends July 31st, 2019, so don't delay.
Hi, Ella. How are you? Hey, come on over here. Well, I heard that you watch my show.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I do.
I'm wondering if you want to be on an episode of my show. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm so excited.
Let's do it. Okay?